Hey, Leon Evans here from Life Central Church. You know, around 12 years ago, my sister adopted 3 children and our family began to grow. A week into lockdown, we had our first grandchild and our family grew again. And I have to say, I am totally besotted with this little girl. But you know, as a church, we've seen so many lockdown babies. And for many years, families in our church have adopted and fostered children. At the last count, maybe 40 children and young people either fostered or adopted in our church. Whether a child comes into a family through natural birth, adoption or fostering, the hope is that the child won't just survive, but actually go on to thrive. In 2020, COVID hit. I felt the nudge of the Spirit speaking to me, saying there's something in the way that a family grows that's bigger than just a family growing. Could this be a picture of a new approach for a new era? Could this be how the family, God's family, the church, begins to grow and expand? Prior to COVID at Life Central Church, we were a multi-site church, one church in 4 locations. We birthed a brand new location in a village near to us. We'd also adopted 2 existing churches. And then during COVID, we were asked to, if you like, foster another church that was going through a difficult season. Maybe there's something in this. Maybe for us to grow and to expand as churches, maybe we need to think about a new approach. How do you respond to the word new? Some people love it, don't they? You know, if it's new, they want it. Some people are totally fed up. And if they hear the phrase, the new normal, one more time, they're going to absolutely scream. You know, if we're honest, really honest, much of what we were doing pre-COVID wasn't seeing the fruit and the expansion that we all deep down know is in the heart of God. And if it's true that our approach is perfectly designed to get the results we are currently getting, then if we're happy with those results, stick with the approach. But if not, maybe the approach needs to change. And you know, if you combine the reality of the pre-COVID world that many of us as church leaders were experiencing with the change of landscape that we're now entering into, I don't think we're entering into a new season. I think we're entering into a new era. And maybe a new era requires or even demands a new approach. So what could God do with resourcing, can I even say apostolic churches that have a desire to birth new churches, adopt existing churches and foster struggling churches? Not so much with a ministry mindset, but with a missional, movement, multiplying mindset. You know, for this to become reality, certain things would have to happen and they're not easy. And they're not simple at all. And the challenge for us, I think it challenges us to the core in terms of identity, security, and can I say, ego. First area I think we need to look at is mindset. Is our mindset transform or change? You know, to change is one thing, but to transform suggests a change in form. To keep doing the same thing and expect different results is, after all, the definition of insanity. The other mindset shift I think we need to do is between kingdom and empire. This isn't about building a bigger brand. It's about releasing kingdom influencers. But you know, I passionately believe it's not either or, but it's both and. Attractional and missional. Gathered and scattered. Big and small. You know, with advances in digital technology, maybe some of these birthed, adopt or fostered churches will become like micro churches or watch parties or new sites or locations or campuses. The possibilities are endless. At the center, you have a resourcing apostolic church that maybe maintains oversight and leadership, central systems and structures that support and resource. So the focus isn't how do we maintain what we do. The focus is how do we reach people who are far from Jesus, and not just reach them, but see them become disciples who make disciples, creating community around the cause and around content. Secondly, the big area I think we need to look at is generosity. Resourcing churches require leaders who get it, staff teams who embrace it, and church members who celebrate it. In Joshua 1, there's a great little verse, and again, I felt the Holy Spirit speak to me so strongly through this. And it says this: your strong warriors must lead the other tribes across the Jordan to help them conquer their territory. As we birth, adopt, and foster, maybe it's just for a season, but we're helping them not just to survive, but to thrive. And thirdly, mutuality. Resourcing churches must adopt the posture of a servant. Churches being adopted or fostered must also adopt the posture of a servant. There's a mutuality, a humility, a willingness to change and to be transformed. Why? For the sake of the mission, for the sake of the next generation. How much is the faith of the next generation worth to us? I want to suggest it should be worth everything. You know, we have to face the fact that we have an emotional irrationality sometimes when it comes to our methods. We know they're not really working that well, but the emotion we attach to them is so strong, and I get that. But a new era requires or even demands a new approach. You know, if you said to me, what would you be willing, Leon, to change, alter, or transform for your granddaughter to not only survive but to thrive? What would you be willing to do? Almost anything. What are we willing to do for the faith of the next generation and for those who are far from Jesus? I want to suggest a new era might require a new approach.